We just saw one of the biggest blowouts in NBA playoff history. That was an absolute beatdown yesterday from start to finish. For a few minutes at the start of the game, it looked like Atlanta may be able to compete, but from there, it was all Knicks all game. It led by 47 at halftime. That is the largest halftime lead in NBA playoff history. That was an embarrassing game from the Hawks. Genuinely don't even know how you find yourself in a hole like that early into the game. OG owned the Hawks throughout that entire first half. There was a point in the second quarter where I think he had outscored the entire Hawks team up to that point. That is genuinely just an awful way for Atlanta to go out. Atlanta's issues started right from the jump. They had a genuinely horrific opening quarter. 15 points is abysmal, even in playoff basketball. They're turning the ball over at the slightest bit of pressure. The will to succeed just was not there tonight. OG was unreal throughout that first half. Brunson and Cat were doing their thing, and they even got Mikal Bridges going, which is when you know as Atlanta that this game was over. He has been an absolute no-show in this series, and they even somehow found a way to get him going offensively against this pitiful Hawks defense. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say the Hawks legitimately did not do a single thing well tonight. They didn't protect the ball, couldn't rebound, couldn't defend without fouling, couldn't get the ball moving on offense, couldn't get any uncontested shots as a result of that, and then ultimately just couldn't shoot. Awful game from Atlanta from start to finish, and the Knicks' confidence has to be at an all-time high after tonight because the Hawks made them look like one of the greatest teams to ever live after that first half. The single best play from a Hawks player all night was Dyson Daniels getting himself and Mitchell Robinson ejected, killing two birds with one stone by taking out a Knick who was having a great game. Robinson was somehow a plus 29 after only playing 8 minutes, and also saving himself the embarrassment of having to come back out of that locker room for the second half. This was definitely an unceremonious end to the season for an Atlanta squad that was expected to be a threat in the East coming into this season, but no one did expect their season to go the way it did, with Trae Young getting injured so early into the season, and then the team being Jalen Johnson's by the time he got back. It was a very hectic season for the Hawks, with an abundance of roster turnover, and usually you'll see a team switch directions in the offseason, not in the middle of a season with meaningful basketball still left to be played. So I do applaud the Hawks for pulling things together as well as they did during such a tumultuous season of basketball, and they did prove during their post-All-Star break run that they can be a very dangerous team. Given a few years to develop this core and bring some more talent in, this Hawks team might be ready to make a leap. This just was not the season for it, and this Knicks team is just too seasoned for an upstart Atlanta team to knock them off. But they did do their best and did have New York playing catch-up after Game 3, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. Overall, a very successful season given everything they had to navigate during it, and I do expect to see them back and better next year. The Knicks have to be feeling about as good as any team in the league right now of their chances of making it to the finals. Not only are they playing their most well-rounded basketball of the season at the perfect time, Anunoby and Cat have come alive in the postseason, and the two of them with Brunson can be a very potent three-man game. They then also have Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, who are great defenders and do have their upsides on the offensive end, all of which does make for one of the better starting units in the league when they're all playing up to their ability. I don't think the Knicks are able to legitimately contend for a title, but they absolutely have a chance to make it out of the East, and whoever wins between them and their round 2 opponent is likely going to end up being representing the East in the finals. I don't see the Celtics losing to Philly, so I do think that we see the Knicks-Celtics matchup, but the Knicks have to be feeling pretty good about that matchup after how much the Celtics have struggled to dispatch this Philly team. That is a big issue for the Celtics if they do want to cement their status as legitimate contenders. Not only can they obviously not lose in round 1, but they really have to make a statement in Game 7. It cannot be a close-fought thing. Otherwise, the Knicks may be able to just run them out of town in round 2 en route to the finals.